Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Awakening of the Prince TEQ Vegeta, the Saiyan Day unit that has come out on DBZ Dokkan Metal Global and JP for Saiyan Day. Now Vegeta, pretty good unit, honestly speaking, really solid, and he has a really good kit. He is, of course, post 9th anniversary on the JP side, which means he is a pretty good unit and will be one of the more powerful units, as he obviously is able to combat the new meta introduced by that anniversary. Now, let's take a look at Vegeta overall. I think you'll find that Vegeta's kit is pretty good. Essentially, how Vegeta works, at least in a way that I find quite interesting, is he stacks attack and defense, but he has guard and damage reduction for the first 3 turns. So 18% damage reduction, guarding all attacks, and essentially he has a higher attack boost and defense boost based on how much defense and attack or health he has at the time of being hit and firing his super attack. You also get defense every time he's been hit, up to 80%. And he also launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when there's an ally whose name includes Goku, or an enemy whose name includes Goku. He can transform very easily from the 3rd turn if HP is 18% or more. And link-wise, he's got Saiyan Warrior Race, Royal Lineage, Prepared for Battle, Saiyan Lineage, Prodigy, Saiyan Pride, and Fierce Battle. Although Royal Lineage and Saiyan Lineage will be swapped out when he transforms. And he's on decent categories: Pure Saiyans, Transformation Boost, Vegeta's Family, Super Saiyans, Android Cell Saga, Battle of Wits, Gifted Warriors, and Mastered Evolution, which is great. Now, as Super Saiyan Vegeta, he obviously greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, so no more stacking, but still seals super attacks, which is great. He has permanent guard and permanent damage reduction of 18%, and his attack and defense go up by 30% as well from the base form. You also get an additional attack of 180% when attacking, which is flat and standard, no longer based on its health. And if HP is 30% or more when attacking, he has an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming an additional super attack. He then has an additional 30% attack if the target enemy's HP is 80% or more or less when attacking. He gets another 30% if it's 60% or less, another 50% on top of all of that if it's 40% or less, and you'll have a additional defense of 180% when receiving an attack. He also launches an additional super attack within the same turn that disables the attack enemy's action once within the turn after receiving an attack. So he can fire up to 2 additionals already based on when and how he receives attacks, and also he obviously has this big scaling kind of damage / attack buff based on how much HP the opposition has remaining. He loses Royal Lineage and the Saiyan Lineage and replaces him with Super Saiyan and Golden Warrior. And yeah, I would say overall he looks pretty good. Even at 55%, I think he's a really strong unit. I think he's really powerful. I think he brings a lot to the table. His kit is very good. So it's a very nice kit. It's a very smooth kit. Very easy to use and pretty fun to run. The base form can get up to some really high defense really quickly, especially if it manages to take some attacks early on, because of how the defense per hit works. And this kind of allows them to immediately get up to speed quite quickly for some harder events. The guard and the damage reduction also assist him a lot, so that really works out in his favor. And yeah, he can just do a really good job in his base form. But the real kicker is when he transforms. That transformation is really powerful. He can fire off some huge attacks. He can really build up or have his defense be super duper high. But upon transformation, you will lose some raw defense. So like a great example is if you're watching this video, he'll be at 550k, 1000 defense, and then when you hit the transform button, he all of a sudden drops down to like 300k. And this is just mainly because of how the defense per hit works, and he no longer has that, so now it drops down. Whereas now on this transformed form, he's going to get 180% per hit. So it's just how it works. It's not really anything too major. Obviously, the theory is that at that point in time, when you hit transform, the TEQ Vegeta wouldn't have guard or damage reduction. So by transforming him, you gain those things. So by transforming him, you gain, you know, you gain that guard, you gain that damage reduction, and those tend to really help out. Now, when you want to transform him, is going to be entirely up to you. It's kind of the big question with this guy. If he can go further, I would suggest leaving him in his tech form. Unless it's absolutely mandatory, or you need the damage, or you need the active skill, or you need, you know, the defensive change up of gaining guard and damage reduction, I would suggest not transforming him. At least in the very beginning. Give yourself a little bit of headway. Let him, you know, like build up attack and defense as much as possible. He will gain quite quickly, especially if you have, you know, a Goku ally or enemy. He will be firing additional attacks, and he should be able to get himself to a decent clip quite quickly. You shouldn't have to, you know, like leave him in that tech base form for too long. Of course, yeah, you want him to really get as high as possible. From an attack perspective, he gains way more from transforming than from not transforming. It's just how it is. So offensively, you're not really stacking for a reason, but defensively, you're stacking for a reason. Because the higher that defense, when he transforms, the better that base defense is going to be. The better that greatly raising defense is going to be, the more effective that guard and damage reduction are going to be. Now, overall, I think he's great. The Big Bang attack active skill is also super easy to use, and I think, honestly speaking, he's really solid. I think if you compare him to Goku Black, he definitely feels a little bit easier to use, a little bit more straightforward, and a little bit more consistent. Goku Black can be really fun and really amazing, and on the right team he can be excellent. But I think Vegeta really shines where he has a situation where he can just be a lot more straightforward to use. To be honest, he's just a unit that's a little bit more straightforward, a little bit easier to use and incorporate into teams. And I think, you know, as a baseline, he's just probably going to get more buffs, because over time, you know, like when you look at him as a unit, when you look at everything, of course, you know, he's just essentially got a better team that he can fall back on. He's got a better kit overall in terms of consistency, and extreme units, at least historically, don't get as many buffs to their teams. And Goku Black is reliant on having super bosses, whereas the most reliant you can probably say is Vegeta has is maybe having a Goku to obviously help trigger that additional attack in his base form. But it's not necessarily something that is mandatory to have, and also isn't particularly hard to do. Having a Goku unit in a team with Vegeta is incredibly simple and straightforward, and I just don't see it being a major issue in terms of, you know, essentially managing Vegeta as a unit. But yeah, that's basically it. Honestly speaking, Vegeta, excellent unit, great unit, love his kit, love everything about him. The animations even look pretty solid in 2x speed as well, or a lot better than what I thought they looked, if I'm being honest. So I was actually pretty happy with like how they look in general, if I'm being honest. I think he looked really solid. His performance is very consistent, and yeah. Now in terms of links, obviously your Royal Lineage, Saiyan Lineage, they change to Super Saiyan and Golden Warrior. So, you know, you kind of have to, like, how can I say, consider that when you're using him as a unit. But a lot of his links are pretty easy to get and are fairly consistent. I would say as long as you can get prepared for battle, fierce battle, Saiyan Warrior race, you're good across both forms. And then whatever else you get is pretty dope, or pretty good additionally. You know, like it's pretty solid as an addition to get Golden Warrior and Super Saiyan, which are also incredibly easy to get, by the way. It's going to depend on what time you're going to spend the most in the form, how you want to maximize it, but ideally build for the Super Saiyan version. That's probably the variant you're going to end up using to finish fights, and so catering to that unit is more important. But realistically, as long as you have the major key link and prepared for battle, you can kind of just run them with whoever. As long as that unit doesn't particularly need any links to thrive. So yeah, overall, really good stuff. Really fun unit. And yeah, I think for me, excellent. Really good. Obviously on a global side, fantastic. Is he, one of the best units in the game on global side? Definitely. Definitely is 100% one of the best units in the game. On the JP side, I think he's still really good. But yeah, that's essentially going to be it from me. But let me know what you guys think, and if you have Vegeta, how have you been using him? That'll be great to hear. And otherwise, yeah, honestly speaking, I think it's a very interesting, well-designed unit. So yeah, bye.